Hey everyone, it's Opie. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another game of World of Warships Legends. Today I am back in Spartan's account in the Bismarck B, but I am also joined by Spartan and he is actually going to help me with the narration and kind of critique how I played and talk about mistakes I've made and things I've done and things I've done correctly or not done correctly. But yeah, he's just gonna, help out with the commentary here.
It's gonna be ruthless. Alright, so we're in the Bismarck, right? First mistake of the game. You're in the Bismarck. But in all seriousness, we spawned on the right flank. It's domination, of course, because this map almost always is. Or is always domination, right? Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, so the first mistake that I'm going to say that she's making right off the bat is coming out here to this right flank as a battleship. 9 times out of 10, this is going to be a terrible idea. Just because you're putting yourself in the open and you're allowing everybody on the enemy team to be able to focus you. 90% of the enemy team spawns within the 3 squares directly across from this spawn. Most of the team. There's literally only 3 ships usually that spawn on the other side of the map. So, okay, that's not 90%, that's 66%, I get it. But, we're going to push over here behind the island, which is a better play than going in front of the island, but she's going to recognize pretty quickly that she has made mistakes with her life choices. So, we'll see what happens here as she moves out to the flank. But, main thing here is we have a destroyer moving forward, spotting for us. We have a cruiser coming behind the island. Cruiser can lob the island, a battleship really can't, for the most part. Maybe if you're on the very tail ends of the island, you can get some shots over the island, but it's pretty rare for battleships to be able to lob this island. So most of the time, a battleship's going to end up having to go out to the open water, which is what Opie's about to do. Now look at the amount of ships that have been spotted right here on this side. Remember what we said about like 66% of the enemy teams right here? Yeah, 6 ships are going to be spotted right in this area, directly across from her. So here, she's going to open fire. And she doesn't get detected immediately because there was island cover between her and that Petro, and nobody has gotten out past the island on her right yet. But as she moves further out, you'll notice that the islands are no longer there. There's gaps in between them, and this is just a matter of time before she fires her guns and gets detected. And as soon as she does, all holy hell is about to break loose.
Yeah, I did make a mistake, but I recognized it. And I turned around after trying to shoot at the cruiser over here. But it wasn't my brightest moment, I will admit to that.
Alright, so here's another mistake that she makes. She recognizes she made a mistake coming out here. She also recognizes she spotted. But she makes the mistake of turning broadside to literally every one of these ships, rather than tanking the hit while bow in and then turning out while they're all reloading. So instead of having one singular mistake that maybe gets her a few thousand damage, she takes a third of her health in damage right there, which is just a perfect example of what happens when you panic. Alright, you see a bunch of ships, you're getting shot at, and the first thing in your mind is, I need to turn away. And that is usually the worst thing that you can do because it's just going to open you up to exposing the entire side of your ship, which we all know is exactly what we want to shoot at as a battleship captain, right? Give me the side of any ship in the game. I'll take it. But fortunately, she gets away with just over 50% of her hit points, and she's got a single fire burning. It'll be out in 8 seconds. She doesn't damage con it, and she's going to turn back behind the island. But notice, she's going to actually hold her fire here, I believe. And that is actually a higher level play than you might recognize. Let's double check. Maybe she does. Nope.
I did.
She holds her fire.
I did.
And like I said, that's a higher level play than you might recognize. Because a lot of people in this situation, they see ships spotted, they immediately think, I gotta shoot it. Regardless of their health situation, regardless of how bad of a position that they're in, like, a lot of people will take that shot. Sometimes you just got to remember that the game can't be won in a single salvo. But your game can be over in a single salvo. So keep that in mind. But as you can see, she's doubled back. She's trying to regroup with the team. She's up against overwhelming odds on this side. Nobody's going to win that fight, right? Not single, especially in a Bismarck. But falling back, regrouping with the team is absolutely the right choice. Now you'll notice that the enemy has captured 3 bases out of the 4, which means that her team isn't doing much of anything either. They've managed to put themselves all behind islands, and they're all playing extremely passively. Now, this can work if the enemy's willing to feed themselves to you, because you can focus fire people like crazy. Will that be what happens here? Only time will tell. But we'll let Opie talk for a minute, because I feel like I've been talking for the whole video.
Okay, so basically what I was trying to do here was find a ship in my range to focus. And it's the Atlantico here that I finally detected that is going to be coming out broadside, and I'm hoping I can get a decent enough salvo and get the kill, but you know, German dispersion, as everyone says. But we're taking the salvo here, and we are gonna see what happens. And we do get like 5k. Not bad, but we don't take him out of the game. Somebody else is going to end up finishing him off. And now I feel a lot more like comfortable back here. Even with the San Diego over there, I don't feel like I'm about to get crossfired by everyone. So I'm just going to start shooting around at whoever I can spot. And hopefully we can get some secondaries in range going. Because, you know, the Bismarck B, it's the main reason I wanted to play the ship.
Now, that shot she just took on the San Diego, she didn't recognize that San Diego was turning away. So that's why those shells all ended up falling short. Sorry if I kicked the mic. But, yeah, that's one thing that a lot of people don't pay attention to, is what the enemy ship that you're shooting at is actually doing. I fall victim to this a lot. But here you're going to see she overleads here, I think, a little bit. That San Diego does not appear to be going full throttle. But we'll see. She may end up getting a couple of overpins. Remember, San Diego is essentially a... I want to say it's the San Diego. That is the SAP 127mm gun. The 5-inch. It's literally a SAP Atlanta, right? So we know that the Atlanta is made of toilet paper. It just does not get citadeled unless it is bow into battleships. But... once again, we've got Petro out there, we got the San Diego. San Diego did get clapped by somebody. We've got a battleship flanking, or no, a cruiser flanking. And then the Georgia has kind of doubled back and gotten behind the islands. So we have some targets of opportunity here as we move back towards the friendly team now. Fortunately for us, the friendlies have started to move up and trying to capture bases. It appears that the destroyer on the enemy team has been taken out. So there's room for this team that looked like they were going the right way for a loss to claw this one back. Getting down 3 caps early isn't always a terrible thing. If you can manage to get rid of the destroyer, then you can potentially put yourself in. Now here, a little bit of a misplay. We get running into the island, but we all do this occasionally. It happens. We all try to get those extra shots out and then run into an island on accident.
It was a tactical beach, I swear. I'm just kidding. I always say that, but it's always accidental. We're going to try and hopefully see if we can get a shot on the Bismarck, but I think he's hiding behind the island, so we don't even end up getting him. I think it's just going to be the cruisers that I'm left to fire at, unfortunately, because for some reason I have not mastered the art of going against cruisers in a battleship yet, for some reason. I just don't know where to shoot. I don't know. It's something I have to work on. We have the Aegir here that just disappeared. And we have the Bismarck that is probably gonna eat some torps and die. Like what just happened right now. So we're just waiting for somebody to get in our range here. And we have the Petro. I'm gonna try and take a salvo here. It's probably not gonna do much. I don't know. I'm just trying to do something. But I am going to get into the B cap to try and get our team another cap so we can get some points. I hit the Petro for like a little bit, but not much. So my main focus at this point is not dying and taking the B cap.
Now here we got a beautiful look at an Aegir that is literally broadside, but once again, Aegir is turning away. Now remember, we don't overmatch in the Bismarck against these high-level cruisers. So there she gets a couple of penetrations as it was over-angled, but later on you're going to see a little bit more of what I mean by we don't overmatch. Now remember, at high levels, generally most of the cruisers, heavy cruisers especially, are going to have 27 millimeters of bow plating, which means that you need 16-inch guns to go through it. And here Aegir is turning towards us, which is beautiful, giving up that beautiful broadside, asking for trouble, and unfortunately Bismarck just does what Bismarck does, which is miss. We get 2 overpins, maybe shot a little bit high there, but moving into the cap here, again, is a great thing, because it allows you to deny enemy points as well as start to get this cap swinging in your favor. Now, San Diego, absolutely begging for it. At this angle, there is chance for Citadel. We do run aground here. Can't really blame her. A little bit close to the island, but we all do that. Like, I've been caught so many times on these little islands and stuff. It's actually crazy. But you saw, we didn't get a lot of damage off the San Diego. Unfortunately, we managed to overpin it. But we were getting some secondary hits on either the Aegir or the San Diego. Now, we did manage to get the cap. So we have a 3-to-1 cap advantage, and we have the points, well, we will have the points lead in one more tick. So right now, the points are very close in this fight. So cap control is huge. And these cruisers are more than capable of swinging the tide of this battle. We got a Petro over here, we got an Aegir. Now, the Aegir just got slapped. Whoever the battleship is behind us coming out of the Alpha cap, they got a really good hit on the Aegir there. And this is about the moment where I actually stepped in and I told Opie, hey, you know, Aegir's going to be torping that gap, turn your sonar on. She manages to slow down, sees the torps coming. Okay? But as we push in, she's going to have a chance to end this Aegir, and all she has to do is shoot the superstructure here. Even the Bismarck at 4.2 kilometers is going to struggle to miss a ship. But, not impossible, she actually aims down. And this is an angled heavy cruiser, and she manages to ricochet 6 shells off of the side of that Aegir. And that Aegir's probably giggling his butt off right now. Because at this point, he's thrilled. He gets a little bit more damage, maybe lives long enough to get another set of torps out, could potentially take this Bismarck out. Like, he is having a blast. But here, I'm going to tell her to aim higher. She actually ends up hitting the turrets and the upper side plating a little bit at too much of an angle. Again, German penetration angles on the battleships not that great. They've been buffed over the years, but still not quite great enough for that. And I don't think even American battleships would have went through at that angle. Fortunately, though, she's not alone. She does have some help here, and between the 2 battleships, they're going to be able to take down the Aegir with secondaries. It was actually a Tirpitz secondaries that managed to take down the Aegir. Now, we know that the San Diego is on our right. You can see the smoke screen off to the right, and you also can see that the SAP primaries are coming in. Petro, very tanky. We know this, so we're going to shoot superstructure here. And she's going to get some decent damage. Not a lot. You're not expecting a lot of damage from cruisers when you farm superstructures late in the game. But it's one of those where you just need to guarantee some damage. Maybe you break guns, those sorts of things, right? Now, secondaries are blasting away, and if there was one thing that I would try to focus here, I would have tried to maybe come out a little bit angled against both early on, and you'd have had your secondaries firing off both sides of the ship. But instead, we don't quite get that, and fortunately, Atlantico's right on the other side of the island. His secondaries take down the San Diego, and between the Atlantico, the Tirpitz, and the Bismarck, Petro's not long for this war. But overall, not a bad game. Very few mistakes. We got to a good teaching point early about going wide on this map from that spawn. But gathering yourself up, coming back to the middle, regrouping with your team, charging the center cap, getting that cap flipped, and then making an impact on the cruisers was an overall good play.
Yeah, so thank you, Spartan, for joining me on the narration to this. It was fun. I really enjoyed playing the Bismarck B. And if you enjoy my content, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.